This meeting of the RTM will come to order. It's Wednesday, December 14th, 2016, 7:30 p.m. Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Representative Adams?
She is here.
She's here. Okay. Bailey?
Here.
Baker?
Here.
Burrell? Bauer? Burgos?
Here.
Casper?
Here.
Sini? Connolly? Here. Dean Shinbrot? Evans? Frickman?
Here.
Garcia? Gilly?
Here.
Crockett Hubbard? Longino? Laughlin? Mayor?
Here.
Marley?
Here.
Massett?
Here.
McDermott?
Here.
Oops. McCabe?
Here.
Merritt? Nault?
Here.
Nugent?
Here.
Aubry?
Here.
Parker?
Here.
Pasqualini? Quinn? Sleeker Hussant?
Here.
Steinford?
Here.
Irma Streeter? Jim Streeter? Swindell?
Here.
Wagner?
Here.
Watrous? Wells? Williams? Wilson? And Newsom. 23 present. Yes. 21 is quorum.
There are 23 members present. I declare a quorum. Will all please rise for a moment of silence and a salute to the flag. And I ask that you please keep the Dela Cruz family in your thoughts and prayers during this very difficult time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item of business, approval of the meeting minutes for the November 9th, 2016 RTM meeting. You hear a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes for the November 9th meeting has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
This is quite perfect.
Seeing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes for the November 9th, 2016 RTM meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Citizens petitions. This is the portion of the RTM agenda where the RTM welcomes comments from citizens. Each presentation should be limited to 10 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit written comments. Presentation should be limited to matters pertinent to Groton. The moderator or members through the moderator shall ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation. Responses may be given by the moderator and or by the town manager. Citizens should make their presentations from the lectern and state their name and address for the record. We don't have anybody signed up, but is there anybody that wishes to speak at this time? Very good. Reception of communications. First thing I have is a letter from the town manager submitting his letter for retirement. What I'll do is I'll read it to you quickly. Dear members of the town council, after long and careful deliberation, I am today submitting my letter of retirement from the town of Groton. I anticipate my last day in the office will be Friday, March 10th, 2017. I plan to enter retirement after using whatever accrued vacation or leave time that I have remaining at that point. This time frame will give the town ample time to prepare for my departure and will give an acting or interim manager or the next manager ample time to prepare for the proposed FYE 2018 budget deliberation. This is not an easy decision. I've invested 35 years of service with the town of Groton. I live in our community. I'm devoted to it. I'm passionate about serving it. I'm proud of all that we, the citizens, Groton's elected leaders, appointed volunteers, and our dedicated and talented town staff have accomplished, especially my 14-plus years as town manager. We've built some of southeastern Connecticut's best schools, saved the Groton Naval Submarine Base 3 times, built stronger relationships with major employers, and improved the quality of life here. We've managed to keep tax increases to a minimum while providing outstanding services to our community. We're in the midst of several major projects requiring the manager's attention, making it hard to leave, but there will never be a good time to step away. Retiring now will allow the new manager to come on board as projects continue to develop instead of when they're in full swing. My decision to retire was a difficult one, but I believe this timing is best for the town and for me. I began working for the town as a planner in 1978. Much has changed since then. What hasn't changed is my conviction that government exists to improve the lives of its citizens. Over the years, there have been many healthy debates about how that should be done. I've always relished honest conversation that respects the personal integrity of all involved and acknowledged their legitimate concerns. Conversations like these lead to informed decisions. They have made Groton the great community that it is today. Sincerely, Mark Groffinger, Groton Town Manager. So, I think it's very gracious of the town manager, basically 3 months. So the town council will go through the process of finding a new town manager. So, and I want to squelch the rumor right now that he's running for a position in the RTM. Although, Mark, what district do you live in?
Third.
I don't know.
All right.
Third district. Third, yeah.
We'll see.
45 Fort Hill Road is where I live.
Anyway, so I wanted to provide that to you. Did you say that they were printed out on the table?
There were some
I know there were some copies of this letter. It was a very well written letter.
on the table.
Over on the table over there. Next thing is I wanted to point out, I just want to thank everybody for participating in the November 16th meeting that we had here with the town council and the town manager. I've never seen anything like that where everybody got together like that and talked. I appreciate your time. There was a lot of very good conversation, and I'm hoping it's going to lead to further conversation, further communication. So thank you again for being there.
I do have an audio of that if anyone wants to CD. I can burn a CD.
If anybody would like an audio of that meeting, the town clerk has it, and we'll burn it to CD. Just get in touch with you.
I've written minutes. I just sent them.
On December 8th, yeah, there's no meeting minutes to be approved or anything like that. So, on December 8th, I met with the town manager, Brian Hancock, director of IT, and Nikki Brescian, executive assistant, and just to talk about the status of the new software that's going to be coming up and the process that the town is going through replacing their software. You remember we had that big discussion. It was a big CIP item last year. And from what I saw, it looks like we're on track to meet the timing goals. And I think the town, at this point, looks like they'll be ready to start implementing the software after we approve it in the CIP in next year's budget. But I know that the RTM had made quite a point that it was an important thing, that software.
Could you speak up just a little bit?
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Knowing that it was important, I wanted to just make sure that the town was still on track to implement that software in the time frame that they had discussed. And basically what I took out of that meeting was that they are. So they're in the process right now of, they've gotten 3 proposals from vendors, and they're in the process of reviewing those 3 proposals. So that's where the software stands right now. What I didn't want is get to budget time next year and go and find out that there was a big surprise, like, that things have not gone the way we had anticipated, but it looks good. We have a referral, 2016-0250, resolution authorizing the town manager to enter into agreement to convert town-owned street and parking lot lights to light-emitting diodes, LEDs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to refer this to the Public Works Committee. Chairman Dean Shinbrod isn't here tonight, but I will get in touch with her. We had talked about CIPs. We had talked about the town converting to LEDs. So this is part of that process. So I'll refer that to Public Works. And finally, I know you all got an email, introduction of an ordinance to amend the enterprise zone ordinance. So that will be a piece of legislation the town council is going to vote on. When they vote on that, the RTM has 45 days to veto it, should we so desire. I'm going to refer that, even though it hasn't been voted on by the town council, I'm going to refer that to the finance committee right now. So after the town council votes on it, it can be on an agenda. In the event that the RTM wants to take action on it, the finance committee will have reviewed it, and can talk about it. And if we think that it needs to be vetoed, then that option will be available. So that's it for communications. Sorry. Yes. The following representatives let us know that they were not going to be here tonight. Representatives Dean Shinbrot, Merritt, Hubbard, Pascalini, Watrous, Wilson, and both Jim and Irma Streeter. Thank you for monitoring. Next item is report of the town manager.
Thank you. Hopefully all of you were able to pick up a copy of the town manager's newsletter. As we normally do, I'll start off with the financial statement. As of November 30th, 2016, the fund balance is approximately $9.9 million, which represents 8.1% of the FYE 2017 general fund adopted budget. Contingency for the current budget year was budgeted at $425,000. There's been 3 transfers out of contingency that are noted in the newsletter, and those 3 transfers total a little bit over $60,000, leaving $364,000 in the fund, in the contingency fund. And the capital reserve balance as of November 30th is estimated to be $1.5 million. These are all obviously unaudited numbers at this point. We did provide a short article in here about the revaluation and an update. The reval will be the evaluation that gets used next year on July 1st to determine the mill rate. We're still in the process of pulling numbers together, as is typical practice. Come February, March timeframe, folks who feel their estimates or their assessments are not accurate will have an opportunity to come in and talk to the BAA. We do not have a total number available at this point in terms of the grand list, and for those of you who have been on the RTM for a number of years, you know there's always adjustments from when we do a reval. We get in a habit of comparing one year's mill rate to the next year's mill rate. You really can't do that in a reval year. And I wouldn't want to venture a guess at this point if we're up, down, or around. We will generate a number. You know, all things being equal, what would the mill rate be as a result of the new grand list number? But I don't have those numbers at this point. If the budget was the same, just so you have a comparison. There is also an article on the Thanksgiving distribution that took place a number of weeks ago. Once again, we had around 450 to 475 families participate in that, and social services and volunteers and others are gearing up for the upcoming holiday distribution, which will be next, not this Friday, but next Friday on the 22nd. I know a number of you have participated in these distributions over the years. It's a very rewarding experience, and if you have some time next Friday on the 22nd and you want to lend a hand, please come on down to social services. It's a very enjoyable experience. Also, we have just concluded in the town the United Way campaign. The campaign this year was headed up by Kim Wardwell, who also did it last year, and Lisa Hilton. Kim is from the Human Resources Department. Lisa is from the manager's office. Around a third of all town employees, a little bit over a third of all town employees participated in the campaign, 92 folks, and there were $17,500 raised. We always have some interesting prizes. We find that folks react well to prizes, and some of them are silly, some of them are not so silly. But I think this year was we had gift cards. We've had over the last couple of years an oil vendor donating gallons of oil, 150 gallons of oil. But this year was the most interesting I've seen. 20 tons of processed gravel, but you had to go pick it up. So, but we're very appreciative. Almost all of these are from local businesses in the community that do provide these prizes. And then a couple of other items in other attachments. As some of you may have seen, Eileen Duggan, who is the town attorney, though there are a number of folks from Sussman Shapiro that are also considered town attorneys, but she is the lead town attorney. She has recently become a shareholder in the firm, in her firm, and she's the first woman to do so, and I think that's a great honor for Eileen. Also, I know later on the agenda you have a report of economic development, and I know John and Paige were here last month. They're not here tonight, but they have provided a November 16 update for your consideration. Also, just a reminder, I know it's late notice, it's tomorrow, but Carol Pratt is retiring, and there's going to be a gathering in her honor starting at 6 o'clock. At Groton Inn and Suites. I'm sure it will be very much fun-filled. And Carol has been absolutely one of the steady faces of the town of Groton for well over 20 years in terms of the Welcome to Groton program, and I'm sure we're going to have a little bit of fun at her expense, but I'm sure it's going to be a well-honored, a well-deserved honor tomorrow night. And as the moderator noted, I did submit my letter of retirement to the town council last night. I won't read it since he's already read it. And I'll be back to the RTM, not as a member, but over the next few months. So thank you.
Thank you. Next is report on economic development, but as the manager pointed out, it's in the town manager report. You can read that. Next.
Okay. The Planning and Development gave a presentation 2 meetings ago, and we have additional packets that were distributed to members that were at that meeting, so for people that missed that meeting. So I know that one member picked up her packet, so there are a couple on the counter if you didn't get that packet. Okay. It has a lot of information about what's going on in town. I think you shouldn't miss out on it.
Thank you. Report of the superintendent of schools.
Good evening. I'm Susan Austin, the Assistant Superintendent of Schools, and I'm here in Dr. Grenier's absence. He's out of district at this time. And I'd just like to report to you on a topic that has really come to the board's attention to improve communications. The Board of Education had an ad hoc communication committee in which we really were able to come together and create a plan. It's really in their interest, and according to the National School Public Relations Office, that we provide you this information. Communication is at the heart of education. School communication is a dynamic part of education success and our students' success. And effective two-way communication is cited as a necessary trait for success at all levels of education, from our school board to our superintendent, to our principals and teachers and staff and families and students, and to our community here. With this plan, we've already seen it go to work. We have, between my office and my staff, we also have a new addition, a part-time communication coordinator, Rebecca Bias, who's been instrumental in helping support these initiatives. You might have seen some good press in the paper lately on our schools. And so we're really excited about that. We're also looking to upgrade our website, which is really needed. So we're working on that initiative as well. Looking at social media and how we can really communicate with families, looking at things like forums and surveys to gather information, because we think that two-way piece is so important. Sometimes schools tend to give out a lot of information, but it's important that we also try to reach out and receive communication as well from our families and community. One of the things that we've always had is Channel 19, and thanks to Mark Russell and his good work, we have broadcasts, all day long. One of the things that we've noted is that we really would like it to be more dynamic and integrated with the website, so it could be a searchable document for families to be able to locate different performances, and so we're looking into that possible idea. Besides good press, one of the things that we've been doing all along is sending out monthly administrative updates to our administrators and Groton Public Schools bulletins to our staff. And one of our latest ideas is a School Matters, and you're the first to see it. It's going to be hot off the press tomorrow, and I'll make sure that we get a copy so that you all can send it out. It'll go home to all of our families. It'll be on our website. But this particular newsletter is really for our families. It'll happen 3 times a year, fall, winter, and spring. And it will provide a lot of information with clickable links and lots of ideas that parents would be interested. Things like winter weather updates and where to find that information, spring break child care, books to read over the holidays, and great titles for to read at home. The Groton School in the News as a clickable document. Dr. Grenier and I have our welcome and news, which really indicates and talks about the Groton 2020 plan, the latest Blue Ribbon Award given to Charles Barnum. One of the other things that we really spent some time, I always want to have a teaching and learning feature article, and this first edition will really showcase the Teachers College Columbia University Writers Workshop Project. So really what's happening with that professional development, the coaching that's going on in 4 of our schools, the teaching that the coaches are doing from Columbia University, teaching our children, but at the same time coaching our teachers, and then them bringing it back and doing it in their classrooms and having what we call Japanese lesson study, which is an opportunity to craft a lesson very carefully. So taking those units of study, developing a lesson together, trying it out in a classroom, giving each other critical feedback, and then trying it again, recrafting it, making it better and better. So we've learned through research that this is really the kind of professional development that grows our teachers, and also it shows tremendous progress for our kids. They have really been writers. One of the things that Teachers College says, as soon as they've done their 10-minute mini lesson, because we find that people stop listening after 10 minutes, off you go writers, and they go and they try those strategies, and the teacher confers in the classroom, giving kids a lot of one-on-one and small group attention. So we're really excited about that particular initiative, and we want families to understand what's happening. And we've seen kids, I actually took a little video clip of a child who was writing, furiously writing, and at the end he goes, ah. So those are the kind of anecdotes that we like to share with our community. We also have a section for grants, awards, and accolades, and I think you all are aware that we also have someone part-time who's assisting us with grants. We're working on a DALIO grant at this time for underserved students, so we're constantly looking. We're looking also for a mental health initiative grant, so it's something that we're constantly looking for additional funding for these really important initiatives. We have an article in here about More Than Words, which is a group of students that Dr. Grenier first started working with in Ledyard, and then it grew to New London, and now it also includes our Groton students. And they actually set sail on a tall ship and they learned some valuable lessons, but one of the quotes that came back to us was, "First comes the ship, then comes the crew, and last comes me." So that, I think, is a tremendous lesson for any teenager to learn. And, you know, we hope that you all will enjoy it. We'll, you know, I'll send around this copy so you can kind of take a look, but I'll also send it out so that, you know, you can have a copy, and it'll be on the website as well. So communications is so key, and we're really looking to you know, improve that two-way communication. Tomorrow, I'm able to join the newly selected representatives, Senator Mark Oppinger, to Hartford, along with our former representative, Lenny Winkler, and we will be meeting with Commissioner Curry, who is in the Administration Services Department, and looking for two things. We're looking to craft legislation so that we will have the waiver of that $450 square foot cap that, you know, is set for school buildings. And then we're also looking to ensure that we get our diversity grant due to our racial imbalance. So we're working already to ensure that this 2020 plan continues. So very excited to be a part of that, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Austin. Does anybody have any questions for the Assistant Superintendent? Representative McDermott.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Hi, Mrs. Austin.
Hi.
There was an article in the paper the other day about a Ledge Light survey that was done with our students.
Mm-hmm.
And although Mr. Swindell is probably more familiar with it than I am, it was kind of disconcerting about, I think it was a third of the kids were not that concerned with things like opioids, and that they were able to deal with that kind of a thing should they come across it. What kind of initiatives, if any, do we have in the school besides the DARE program, which I think has not been that effective given the results? What do we do?
Well, actually, Representative Swindell had come to our Board of Education meeting and met with all the board members. We were really grateful, so he shared some of the results, which looked like there were some improvements made. And one of the big focuses that he shared with us is that families matter. That kids who have families who are very involved will listen to their parents, which is really good news. So that we're finding that it's important that the schools communicate home, which is just part of what I've talked about. One of the initiatives that I have worked diligently on is something called Healthy Development, a summit for mental health of infants, children, and adolescents, and actually worked with Kevin Trejo, who represented Groton Children First, and the town and the city, so it was a collaborative effort. Out of that came 4 working groups. One of the groups is curriculum instruction, so we're looking at mental health, risky behaviors, substance abuse, and where it fits in pre-K through 12 in the curriculum. So there'll be curriculum work, and we've already begun that work, looking at each year and seeing what is in place for kids to start, you know, learning these great skills. The other thing is I just met today with an access and delivery group, which I don't know if you remember, the Parks and Rec had a great little directory about 10 years ago. So we're looking to create a live access online and provide that to towns, schools, so that parents can get access for information, and one of those sections will be on substance abuse and needs that families would have and schools could provide or could gather. And then one of the groups is really on risky behaviors and, you know, looking at the community speaks out and shine the light and what are some of the things that we can do presenting to kids so that they really understand. I think the biggest thing goes back to that two-way communication schools need to have with families, and maybe to create forums so that parents and kids can come out and have talks about the serious nature of this and how it can get started. Representative Swindell, you could speak to this more, but I do remember that, and I remember hearing from my father, a submariner, that You know, it was really important that, you know, one drug can spark another, and that, you know, marijuana use, there was a connection between marijuana use and other drugs, so that you might be able to speak to that more, but that really something just for kids to understand. And my question after you had met with us is, do our students know about this survey? Do they know the results of the survey? I think it's important that teenagers do know the results of this, to pay attention to it.
Will you be doing an additional survey so that we have some results to perhaps measure? Because that's not been done before.
An additional survey?
Well, survey the results of those kinds of programs so that we have the ability to find out whether what we're doing is working or not.
Like you're talking about the DARE program?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't do that in the DARE program. They don't check with the kids afterwards and do any surveys. They haven't
Right,
anyway. That was
right.
a suggestion I had for the captain.
The DARE program we still have in 5th grade. You know, and it's hard to say that one variable could constitute making such a big difference. You know, there's so many variables, and the variable that Representative Swindell mentioned was that the families seem to be the most significant variable. If kids felt that they could talk to their family and their parents disapproved of this kind of behavior, if they were negligent and didn't pay attention, then kids were more likely to partake.
Sure. Well, thank you.
Are there any other questions for Dr. Austin? Thank you very much, Dr. Austin, for your time.
Thank you.
What I forgot to ask you earlier was, I apologize. Anybody have any questions for the town manager? No? No. Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda is liaison reports. Are there any liaison reports? Seeing none, we'll go to committee reports. Finance, Chairman Quinn's not here, but Representative Nault, Finance Committee have any meetings? Community Development and Services, Chairman Connolly.
No meeting, no report.
Education, Chairman Nugent.
No meeting, no report.
Recreation, Chairman Wilson. Chairman Wilson's not here. Anybody from the Parks and Rec Committee? Is there a meeting? Thank you. Public Safety, Chairman McDermott.
No meeting?
Public Works, Chairman Dean Shimbrad isn't here. Anybody from Public Works have a meeting?
No report.
Thank you. Rules and Procedures, Chairman Massett.
No meeting, no report.
Thank you very much. Next item, item K, budget discussions. Are there any budget discussions? Very good. Other business. We have item 2016-0274, which is the RTM 2017 meeting schedule. Resolution approving 2017 RTM meeting schedule. Whereas Freedom of Information statutes require filing a calendar year schedule of meetings with the town clerk, and whereas the Representative Town Meeting has met regularly on the second Wednesday of each month, now therefore be it resolved, the Representative Town Meeting hereby approves the meeting schedule for 2017 as follows, and you can see those are all the second Wednesday of the month. I'll entertain a motion to put item 2016-0274 on the floor for approval.
I make a motion.
Second.
Parker and Adams. Parker and Adams.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote on item 2016-0274, 2017 RTM meeting schedule. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously.
So it's 22-0. And a no vote. Brandon wasn't here. No.
Just
22-0.
zero.
And we'll just make a notation that Riley left the room, he wasn't here to vote. I saw him get up and leave.
Very good. That, is there any other business that anybody would like to bring up? Representative Conley?
with my new position as state rep-elect, I am unable to continue with the RTM. I unfortunately do not have enough time to be in Hartford for budget deliberations at the same time that town budget deliberations are in this room. So I have enjoyed my time in the RTM, and I will be resigning at the end of this meeting to let someone else fill the spot for District 4.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your service. Put a lot of time into it. Representative Nugent?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Yes, I also would like to thank Representative Chris Conley for her service to the RTM as a member, moderator, floor leader. You have served with fairness, integrity, and maybe most importantly, good humor. You will be missed, but I wish you the best, as I'm sure we all do, in your new responsibilities up in Hartford.
We wish you the best of luck. Any other business this evening? Representative Obrey?
I was just going to put a thought out that when it comes time for Mark to actually walk out, I will roast.
I get
Can
to
you-
roast.
No, I get to
Oh.
roast you.
That should be good. Any other business tonight?
Roast.
Thank you very much for your time. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.